This is an article from Forbes from last summer saying millennials are having fewer babies. What does this mean for retirement? Because when women have babies, it's all about the economy because it's putting more taxpayers into the worker pool, it's putting more laborers into the work pool, and we can see where things are going. But in this current climate in this country, why would anybody with sense have babies? I am going to be on team let the birth rate plummet to hell for the foreseeable future. I am going to come back to this article, but I just want to remind people what people of right now living in this country are facing. The Musk-Trump administration wants to cut the Department of Education, which provides funding and grants for people to go to school, which provides funding for low-income families, which provides funding for students that might need help with learning disabilities or other kind of disabilities. The Musk-Trump administration wants to cut that. The Musk, Trump, and Project 2025 people want to do away with Head Start. They want to get rid of this, which is a way for women to actually be able to go back to work, considering how much cost of living is right now and wages not keeping up with cost of living. Doing away with Head Start will really impact families. So why would women have babies in this climate? Then for low-income families that already have kids of school age, Republicans have consistently wanted to slash free lunches. They said, F them kids. Have these kids, but F them kids. And remember, this man, Rich McCormick, he recently said, they can just go to work. Tell them elementary school kids to pull up their bootstraps and go work at McDonald's. So no funding for free lunches. Absolutely not. We don't want to feed these kids simply because they're here. And the way the Musk-Trump administration came in with just freezing funds and how that impacts people on SNAP and WIC is detrimental. So this was an article just from a week ago, how the Trump-Musk administration could leave families hungry, potential cuts to SNAP in 2025 and beyond. Previous attempts to cut food assistance provide important clues for how Trump and the new Congress may attack families relying on SNAP. Food for impoverished people. Let's just keep, cutting funds. So while this Forbes article just last summer is talking about retirement, people right now are thinking about survival. And it does seem like a million years have happened since last summer. At least 3 to 4 years just this year with all of the things that are going on. But what person in their right mind would be having children right now? And what person is having babies right now and thinking about retirement or the economy or future taxpayers? What person is doing that? Anyways, let's look at this article from Forbes and think about it in the frame of right now and the ridiculousness of this political climate. All right, so let's look at the article. Fertility rates are declining worldwide. Yes, there are nations where there are still far more children than the replacement rate of at least 2.1 children per woman, but industrialized economies are all well below replacement level. United States Census data indicates that the percentage of women between ages 30 and 44 who never had children is at a record high since 1960, contributing to the nation's fertility rate of 1.8 children per woman, notably below the population replacement rate of 2.1. I really thought that our birth rate was 1.6. It's definitely 1.6. It is not 1.8, but we'll still keep it pushing. The United States is a virtual daycare center compared to many other nations. Statistics Canada reports that Canada clocked in at 1.3 children per woman in 2022. Yeah, maybe the United States is using 2022 numbers because I do not think it's 1.8 right now. All right, Euronews reports that Europe had its fewest number of babies since 1960 in 2022. The United Kingdom has a modest fertility rate of 1.6, while Germany is at 1.4 and Italy at 1.2. Of course, there is an island outlier of Malta with the lowest fertility rate in Europe at about 1 child per woman. World Bank data indicates a sea change in fertility rates in Asia as well. China, despite revoking the one child, one family policy many years ago, has reported a meager 1.2 children per woman. Japan stands at 1.3, which is shockingly low, but in stark contrast to the startling bottoming of Korea's fertility rate at zero point 0.8 children per woman. Yeah, they're using old numbers because Korea has dropped to 0.7. Are kids, well, simply out of vogue? One of the most frequent reasons for not having a child is it is financially impossible to have one, let alone more than one. Moreover, the caregiving burden shouldered by families balancing aging parents, work, and a child, let alone children, is too great. The moniker sandwich generation simply doesn't capture the pressure many families, particularly women, are experiencing. Finance and family caregiving are certainly clear and compelling factors. Reality, however, is often far more complex than the simplicity of kids cost too much. The drop in fertility rates portends a coming demographic winter, likely resulting from a nested set of issues that includes the cost of raising children and the evolving context of modern life globally. Regardless of why or why not of having a child, declining fertility rates will have profound implications for individual retirement planning and society. Is demographic winter coming? The term demographic winter is how demographers describe a significant population decline. Falling fertility rates are a key characteristic of this cold, dark demographic season. While fertility rates have dipped due to famine, war, and disease, they have historically rebounded. Remember the baby boom after the Great Depression and World War II. However, a fascinating demographic shift has swept the industrialized world. Even after the COVID-19 pandemic, there might have been the assumption that there would be a baby boom or at least a baby blip in the fertility rates. After all, there was a long lockdown with little to nothing to do. Nope, the only increase was in divorce rates. Instead, fertility rates have plunged in Europe, North America, and parts of East Asia, and even South America, leaving policymakers, social scientists, and more than a few want-to-be grandparents scratching their heads like they just have no clue what's going on. You know what? These people talking about policymakers, social scientists, and grandparents are scratching their heads. And I need to understand why. Do they really not understand that cost of living is skyrocketing and wages have stagnated across the board? Grandparents know that it used to cost like $3.50 to get one credit at college. Like they could literally buy a house on one income. And right now, people have to take a job plus a gig job to survive. And they're talking about, I just don't know why they don't want to have kids. Like, why is this so baffling to people? Like, even a social scientist couldn't figure this one out. And this is a Forbes magazine. And I would think that they would have their hand on the pulse of what is going on in the globe. They got social scientists and everything. Why or why not have kids? Decades ago, having children was a gamble, and having many children was a hedge. Until the last century, high infant and child mortality rates meant that parents often had many children, hoping some would survive. Imagine living when 30 to 50% of kids didn't make it to adulthood. Parents were hedging their bets against disease, malnutrition, and other threats that could claim young lives. Increased longevity today is less about older people living longer than younger people surviving past age 5. Clean water, vaccination, and better nutrition have made infant and toddler survival more likely, reducing the need for more children to ensure the survival of the few. So you don't need to have 5 kids to make sure that 2 survive. You can simply have 2. Children are cute, but historically they were also useful. My own family worked in paper mills and operated dairy farms. Lots of logs to be pulped and lots of cows to be milked meant needing lots of kids. So they had kids just to have workers. Literally, farmers needed workers, so they birthed their own workers. We don't have to do that these days. Women can have babies if they want to, but we do not have to birth our own workers for a farm. Anyways, I'm not going to continue with this because there's literally no reason to have children right now in this current climate. Kids are cute. Kids are expensive. And this political climate is jacked up. They're firing people left and right. They're pulling funding. But who knows? Do you want to have kids? Let me know. I'm on team let it plummet to hell. Join the conversation, like, comment, and share.